Triveni Sangam, to the Pitars, to our ancestors, to Bhishma Pitama, to Surya Narayan, and to our ancestors. Rajarshi Ranjan Nandi, the significance of what the Prime Minister is doing, including the parikrama.
Yeah, so it is basically, as I was saying, the one of the most important things to come in the Sangam after taking bath is to perform the same mantras of the deities that you worship even at home and other places, and then offering tarpanam, at least three minimum tarpanams, one to the rishis, one to the pitrus, and one to all the deities who are present in that kshetra. So he is doing that, and not only that, for any upasaka, it's important to perform tarpanam also of the deity to whom he is worshipping, because it is believed that in that confluence, every single devata that we worship also comes to take a dip. Their astral energies are present. So in that condition, in that environment, when somebody is taking a dip as well as chanting those mantras, and as I mentioned, it's significant to see the Prime Minister wearing red, because red is indeed the color that is most usually worn while doing Devi Upasana. And we are in the middle of the Gupta Navratri, and this is an Ashtami Tithi, which is the peak of the Navratri, when actually the energy of Goddess Durga is most prominently present. And being a Gupta Navratri, this is the Navratri that is most significant for Upasakas more than the masses. But these days, all the four Navratris have become popular and important, which is good for the Sanatanis and for devotees. And the parikrama he is doing is a way of actually you are circumambulating the whole. It's not possible for somebody to do a parikrama of the whole river, but you are doing a parikrama of the self that stands inside, which is primarily the center point of all the devotion and all the deities. So you are in a way doing a parikrama of the whole universe when you're trying to do a parikrama standing in the river after taking a dip. So this clearly the Prime Minister is well aware of. Unlike many people, he is aware that what rituals are to be done and what deities are to be worshipped. And as I mentioned, that perhaps it was not a coincidence that he chose this specific day. It also helps that it is not one of the Shahi Snan days, yet it fulfills spiritual necessities that he might have as an individual and as the leader of the country.
Anand Nilkanthanji, the flow of the water is very swift, exactly at the Triveni, and where the Ganga and the Yamuna and Ma Saraswati, where they meet, and that's why the Prime Minister is holding on to that rope as he takes a dip in that icy cold water. It's very, very cold. I'd taken a dip here just a couple of days back. It's rejuvenating, no doubt, but it's extremely, extremely cold. The Prime Minister in full devotion taking that dip. Now, can you explain? Last time he was wearing black, this time he's wearing red, closer to saffron.
Basically, it is as they had mentioned, he's a Upasaka of Devi, and red signifies the color of Devi. Especially on today, it is very significant. I think he knows about it, and he has been advised about it by his gurus, and that's why he's doing it. Basically, this is a moment where in your sankalpa or in your imagination, you understand that you are just, as I explained earlier, you are just one drop in the whole universe of time. The river signifies time. The Yamuna is also called Kalindi. It is the significance of time. Ganga is of Shiva and Saraswati is of knowledge. That's why it's the Triveni Sangam. In this place, he is standing here and he is giving offerings to every creature, every living and non-living things in the world. And that is why he is doing the parikrama. He is circumambulating the entire universe, thinking that I am the part of the universe, I am the universe, and I and whatever is around, there is no difference between I and anything. I am the whole. That is the fundamental meaning of the Tarpana, what he is doing. And we can see that it is he is reiterating a tradition which spans at least 5,000 to 6,000 years, or perhaps more than that. So it is such a wonderful sight to see. He, being the Prime Minister of the country, yet one among 40 or 50 crore people, there is no Bhed Bhav, there is nothing. Prime Ministers or kings and dynasties will come and go. He understands that significance. It is a moment of humility also. There is no difference between he or anyone standing there, or the entire people who have come there, or even every creature in a microcosm in the Ganga water. There is no difference between that. It's the ultimate Advaita what we are talking about here.
And Ma Ganga signifies our civilizational, our civilization. It's a civilizational river all along from Gomukh to Ganga Sagar. The Prime Minister knows this, and Samarth, that is why a lot of emphasis was laid on cleaning the Ganga river. Right now also constantly efforts are on as crores and crores of devotees take a dip, as the Prime Minister takes a dip. Cleaning of river Ganga, the Namami Gange Pariyojana or the mission Namami Gange has been on top of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's agenda.
Well, exactly, Gaurav. Not just in Prayagraj, but also in Varanasi, we see the Namami Gange project is happening, and that's why efforts are being made to ensure that the river Ganga must be cleaned completely. Though they tried their best and made the water at least enough to take the holy dip around the Sangam, around the Triveni, as also we saw the visuals when UP CM Yogi Adityanath did the Yachaman, which we say he also drank that particular water of Triveni just to ensure the public that the water is safe for the holy dip. Also, you saw UP Deputy CM Keshav Prasad Maurya doing the same, and now what we see is PM Modi taking the holy dip in the river Ganga. Also, it's the Triveni where the three rivers Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati comes all together. Though he came 5 years back also in the Kumbh that happened in 2019, where we saw him taking the holy dip, and now again he's taking that particular dip. Also, a message is also being given by PM Modi that he decided to come after the three Amrit Snan so that the public must not suffer. And when he's coming, he's interacting in a way, he's waving hands at the public, at the devotees who have come in lakhs to take the holy dip and make this moment unforgettable for the lifetime. So that's been the message from PM Modi, and that's why we see how he's taking the holy dip. Though also politics also ensued in Parliament yesterday about PM Modi's visit, but as far as current visit is concerned, we see the smiling faces all around the Prayagraj, all around the Mahakumbh. The devotees who are getting a chance to get a glimpse of PM Modi, they are quite happy. Obviously, they have got their day going well. A very good start to the day. So it's around 11:30 now, and after taking this particular holy dip, PM Modi will be interacting with a lot of saints, Mahamandaleshwar, Acharya Mahamandaleshwar, and later on he'll again move to the Aral Ghat. And from there, a chopper will go on to that particular academy in the school, from where the Air Force via Air Force Viman, he will be moving back to Delhi. Back to you.
Interesting, you should point this out. And as we look at these images of the Prime Minister's Puja, Archana and Tarpan, the offering of water to ancestors, to the holy gods and goddesses who are there, koti gods and goddesses, as they say here at the Sangam at this point of time. I want to bring in Shiv Kumar GVG to understand a little more about the Namami Gange mission. It's a mission to clean Bharat's civilizational river, and shouldn't just be restricted just to Ganga. In Delhi, everyone's talking about the Yamuna and the pollution in Yamuna, the politics around it. But I want to draw your attention to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said in 2019. 32 nalas in Prayagraj and around were flowing into the Ganga, our civilizational river. And you had sewage water that was flowing into it. 32 of those nalas were closed, and water treatment plants were put in place, as the Prime Minister said, by his government. But it just goes on to show how we had forgotten or stopped giving respect to our heritage, to our civilizational heritage. Shiv Kumar ji.
Yes, Gauravji, that's an important dimension that I wanted to raise. Early in the 20th century, Madan Mohan Malviya is supposed to have objected to the British letting the sewage flow into the river Ganga. At that time, the Ganga was still very wonderful, very clean. Now, we all know that in the 20th century, in the material pursuit and in the urbanization that lacked a vision, we have let every single river in Bharatavarsha suffer. In many ways, the suffering of the nation, the fall of the nation, was a function of how badly we ended up, treating our rivers, which are our mothers, which is what is there in every scripture. So, in many ways, this Kumbh Mela and the presence of Prime Minister Modi ji and the focus paid by the administration is a message to the larger civilization that it is not just the responsibility of the administration and the state, but it is the most critical responsibility of the society, every individual, every community, every city to bear this in their consciousness and ensure that we don't pollute our rivers. This obviously requires a new vision of urbanization, a new vision of industry, but without sacrifices, without tyaga, this is not going to happen. Without yajna,
Yes.
dana, and tyaga, this is not going to happen. If we want to pursue a perspective of life that is anchored on the material, we will let the rivers suffer. We will have to take a step back and reimagine the way we are living our material lives, and then where at the center of which should be every single river should be clean. If we take that vow, then even the reimagination of the civilization will also happen. But in pursuit of material, if we are letting rivers suffer like this, then it will have consequences on every pursuit we have. So
Because right now,
this
when
is
we
an
talk about
important
politics
metaphor.
of cleaning the rivers, when we talk about how polluted Yamuna is, and again, it's Ma Yamuna. But Ma Yamuna remains so polluted. And in Delhi, which is seeing elections today, there is ugly politics about the pollution in Yamuna, the poisoning in Yamuna, the barbs that are being exchanged between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's just so sad because Ma Yamuna again is part of that same civilization, the civilizational river Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati that meet at the Triveni at Prayagraj. Nandita Pandeji, that just goes on to show how cut off some of us are becoming from our roots and how difficult this journey to reconnecting to our roots is.
Question that we all should actually invoke today at this these occasion of this Mahakumbh Mela. Each Sanatani and every person in India should actually think about it. And as a Sanatani, whenever I take a dip, or even at home, if I have to actually accumulate the powers of these rivers, I actually chant a mantra, which a Sanatani does. Gange cha Yamune chaiv Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jale Asminam Sannidham Kuru. That means, may I get the power of these rivers. Ganga is all about purity. When you take a dip in Ganga, and this confluence here is actually signifying that when Honorable Prime Minister is taking a dip, Ganga is about purity. All your sins are purified.
Yes.
Yamuna is about devotion. When you're talking about Yamuna, it's about devotion. Devotion to the divinity, devotion to the humankind, devotion to the, your good aspects of life and the philosophy life. And Saraswati ji, again, is signifying knowledge. So it's a confluence of knowledge, devotion, and also purity. So that when we take a dip in this Mahakumbh, we also should take a pledge in ourselves to focus on these aspects and to ensure that when we are close to these rivers, we should not throw unnecessary things. We should take that initiative in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I
No
remember
plastics in our rivers. That has to start from us. It has to start from our political leaders at a different level.
Not doing it.
Yes, you cannot just talk about cleaning the Yamuna river and saying we'll make it good enough to drink and not do anything about it, because these are Bharat's civilizational rivers. And Samarth, you and I were reporting in 2019 where the Namami Gange was made into a major mission, when the Prime Minister also spoke in Prayagraj when he said, for Namami Gange, even I have made a small contribution. If I remember correctly, it was the sole peace prize that he'd been awarded, close to 1 crore 30 lakhs, that he donated that entire amount to the Namami Gange mission. That is what is required. A lot of effort to clean the rivers, to ensure sewage water does not flow into the rivers. There are water treatment plants at the government level and at the level of the people. We all need to do our bit for our civilizational rivers from Sindhu to Kaveri all across.
यदि मिले
Well, exactly, Gaurav. As we know that PM Modi announced that around 5 years back when he gave that particular amount for the cleanliness drive of Ganga under the Namami Gange project. So he has been very much connected to the Ganga, River Ganga, Ma Ganga, because it's not just in India. We don't just call it Ganga, Yamuna or Saraswati. These are the goddess for us in the Hindu Dharma. Ma Ganga, Ma Saraswati and Ma Yamuna, and that has been the essence of purity, the essence of Sanatan Dharma around the thinking of Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and that's why he considers it, and that's why after in 2014 when Prime Minister Modi became the president, amongst his top priorities it was also about the cleanliness of Ganga. Also when he became the member of parliament from Varanasi, he started focusing on how to clean river Ganga, because we saw how polluted Ganga was, though it's not completely clean by now, but yes, efforts are being made under the project, and we can assume, we can expect it to be completely cleaned in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a lot depends on the project managers or whatever who are taking this particular case. But Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi is very much watchful about this particular project, about this particular thing, to ensure that the water of river Ganga must be cleaned for the devotees, because it's not just a river, it's the devotion, it's the sacrifice, it's the essence of spirituality which in a way rises in India. We spoke to various Russians, people from Italy, Colombo. They all clearly were in a very watchful about the flow of people towards Sangam. As if a cameraman could show some visuals out here, then you can clearly understand this is the area which goes to the Sangam, and they all are moving towards Sangam for the holy dip. Many have also collected the holy water in their water bottles as well, and you can see they might have to travel along 5 to 8 kilometers, but that really doesn't matter. See, even the women out here are carrying some heavy bags on their heads, but that's the Sanatan Dharma. That's the beauty of Sanatan, that they don't have any pain, and they are just moving. They have got bottles in their bags to ensure that they must carry the holy water of Triveni with them to their households, to their homes, and also in a way give some water to their neighbors and the relatives as well. So that has been the strength of Sanatan Dharma, that is the power of Sanatan Dharma. And when PM Modi comes here, this thing increases, and the vibration we see around the devotees is quite high, very high. Back to you.
The vibration amongst devotees. Dr. Arun Krishnan joins us on this broadcast, author and seeker. Dr. Krishnan, it's all about the vibrations of Prayagraj during this period of the Mahakumbh. And when you look at the devotees who are there in large numbers, we saw crores during Mauni Amavasya, during the Basant Panchami Snan, but even now, all the Amrit Snans are over, but during this Gupta Navratri and Ma Durga's Puja, when the Prime Minister takes a dip, there are crores who are watching on either side of the Ganga and Yamuna. What do you make of these images?
Look, thank you, Gaurav, for having me on. Look, the Kumbh Mela heralds the continuity of our civilization, right? It's an emotion. It's an expression of Sanatan Dharma. It's almost an embodiment of its eternal nature. We know its origins are lost in the hoary mists of time. No one quite knows when it began, but it has embedded itself in, Bharat's collective consciousness and racial memory, so that it hardly matters if one were to actually affix a date to it. It exists. It's always existed. And it's the ultimate expression of Sanatan Dharma on the mortal plane. So, if you've been blue-pilled into associating Sanatan with caste as the primary focal point, then visit the Kumbh, because millions of Sanatanis jostling shoulder to shoulder without any differentiation or animus, having a snan together, will ensure that you never see caste as the bedrock of Sanatan.
Point you should make, but permit me to interrupt you for a moment. Two very powerful images on your television screens right now. One side, you have Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking a holy dip at the Triveni Sangam. On the other side, you see Delhi's former Chief Minister and the Aam Aadmi Party convener, Arvind Kejriwal. He's going to cast his ballot, taking his mother and father with him, taking his children with him. He's pushing his mother's wheelchair, his son pushing the father's wheelchair, wife accompanying him. A very, very strong, significant statement being made by Delhi's former Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party convener, taking his parents and family as he goes to cast his ballot or their ballot in a very, very crucial election in New Delhi. It's a tri-cornered contest there with the BJP and the Congress party. It's being seen as a very tough fight with this tri-cornered contest, but Arvind Kejriwal is seen as someone who's fighting with his back to the wall in a very crucial election, but he continues to do so as we look at these images of his entire family going out to vote. 70 seats. The Aam Aadmi Party in the past three elections in fact, has done spectacularly well. 67 and then 62. But what will this situation be on the 8th of February is that big question as Arvind Kejriwal's and his family, they go to vote. So that's one image on your television screen. The other image is Prime Minister Narendra Modi praying at the Triveni Sangam. He will be meeting the saints and seers in a while from now. So 13 akhadas, there are 7 Shaiv akhadas, there are 3 Bairagi or Vaishnav akhadas, then there are the Udasin akhadas and the Nirmal akhada. This also, Dr. Arun Krishnan, if I could bring you in once again, shows not just the strength of the Sanatan Dharma together, but also Hindus and Sikhs. They pray together, worship together, and bathe or take a holy dip in Ma Ganga together. It shows the bond between Hindus and Sikhs that several have tried to break now for over a century.
I don't think Hindus ever have considered Sikhs as different from them, right? We've had this long tradition of Hindu families, making their first sons as Sikhs. So I don't think Hindus particularly have any issue going into a Gurdwara and praying there. We consider the gurus as our own gurus. So I don't see. I'm frankly not surprised that this is happening because it is a celebration of Sanatan Dharma. And Sanatan Dharma is broad enough that it encompasses pretty much everybody. And as I was saying, right, if you have been black-pilled into becoming dejected, that Sanatan is on the wane, then you must visit the Kumbh because you will find people of all ages and particularly be amazed by the number of young who have turned up for a once in several generations opportunity. And if you want to be white-pilled about why Bharat remains an enduring entity, then visit the Kumbh. Again, you will see people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Kamakhya to Kutch, all reverently bowing their heads and dipping into the forgiving waters of the Sangam, of Ma Ganga, Ma Yamuna, Ma Saraswati.
You're absolutely right. And I've been privileged to see this. I've seen people from Jammu and Kashmir and I've seen people from Tamil Nadu and Kerala. I've seen people from Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. And I've seen people from Gujarat and in large numbers taking a dip at the Sangam and all along the Ghats when I was there before the Moni Amavasya Snan till after the Basant Panchami Snan. You're absolutely right. This is the melting pot of the Sanatan Dharma. But Shiv Kumar GVG, on the Prime Minister's interaction with the saints and seers on the Acharya Mahamandaleshwars, will this be a one-way message? Okay, and as we look at these images after his holy dip, the Prime Minister is now coming out. He's changed his clothes after that dip in the Sangam. There are many changing rooms on the floating jetty that's been formed that's been set up at the Triveni Sangam. And these are multiple floating jetties all across the Sangam area. Many changing rooms there. Now the Prime Minister is back at the Arail Ghat where you see his vehicle. And from here, he'll be going to interact with the saints and seers. I want to bring in Samarth Srivastav into this conversation. Samarth, the saints and seers, they've stayed back to interact with the Prime Minister. Some of them were expected to leave on the 4th, but they've decided they'll all stay back till the 7th because meeting the Prime Minister is extremely interesting. Do we have details of who are the saints, seers, the Acharya Mahamandaleshwars, the Mandaleshwars who are meeting him? Okay, perhaps there are jammers in that place and it will take us a moment to re-establish that connection with Samarth Srivastav. So at the Arail Ghat, again, you have a large number of pilgrims and devotees who were taking a dip. The Prime Minister reached out, waved to them, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath with him, and now the Prime Minister goes for his meeting with the saints and seers. When he was there in December 2024, the Prime Minister had spoken of various projects worth 5,000 crore rupees, 167 projects that the Prime Minister had then dedicated to the nation. Samarth Srivastav now joins me for more on this. And Samarth, after a dip in the Ganga, the Prime Minister then interacts with the saints and seers, and the messaging becomes extremely crucial because this interaction, there are lakhs and lakhs of devotees linked to every akhada. 13 registered akhadas with the Akhada Parishad, but there are multiple other akhadas that may not be registered but have a huge following. The Nath Akhada, the Valmiki Akhada, the Kinnar Akhada, the Pari Akhada. The Prime Minister's interaction will be extremely interesting. The Achman of Ganga Jal that's happening right now. The images that we see on our television screens, Samarth.
Well, exactly, Gaurav. As we see the PM of India interacting with the saints, Acharya Mahamandaleshwar, the various Akhada heads out here, Akhada Parishad heads. So the interaction is very clear, and see, you can have a smile on the face of PM Modi when he'll be interacting with the Akhada Parishad, as he'll be asking about the phase, about the experience for the month now, because the time has come for the sannyasi Akhadas, at least the 7 sannyasi Akhadas, which will be leaving Mahakumbh by 7th of February. So it will also be a gesture of gratefulness to the Prime Minister of India by the Akhadas. Also at a time when we saw the stampede happened on Moni Amavasya, these were the Akhadas who did not press on the situation that they have.
Om Chandrava Manaso Jata Chakcho Surjo Vajayata Sotrad Vayuscha Pranascha Mukhad Agnirajayata Man में बसा कर तेरी मूर्ति उतारूं मैं मैया तेरी आरती मांगू तुझसे क्या मैं यही सोचूं मैया जिंदगी जब तेरे नाम कर दी अर्पण सब कुछ तेरा कुछ नहीं मेरा चिलता है तुझको मां संसार के मन में बसा कर तेरी मूर्ति उतारूं मैं मैया तेरी आरती वेद तेरी महिमा गाए संत करे ध्यान नारद गुणगान करे चेड़ बीड़ा तान भक्त तेरे द्वार करते हैं पुकार हम सब तेरी माँ उतारे आरती मन में बसा कर तेरी मूर्ति उतारूं मैं मैया तेरी आरती ओम मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वज मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्ष मंगलाय तनो हरे मंगलम भगवान शंभु मंगलम वृषभध्वज मंगलम पार्वतीनाथ मंगलाय तनो हरः ओम चंदनस्य महत्पुण्यं पवित्रं पापनाशनं आपदाहरते नित्यं लक्ष्मी तिष्ठति सर्वदा ओम अपवित्रः पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थांगतोऽपि वा यः स्मरेत् संकल्पः ओम गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलेस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु ओम सुजात ज्योतिघासः संभवरूथम सदस्वाहा भासो अग्ने विश्वरूपगुं संव्ययस्व विभावसो वस्त्रोपवस्त्रं समर्पयामि ओम नाभ्यायासीदन्तरिक्षगुं शेष्णो द्यौः समवत्तदा पद्भ्यां भूमृद्देशः श्रोत्रान् तथा लोकान् कल्पयन् नैवेद्यं निवेदयामि द्रवदक्षिणां समर्पयामि ॐ चन्द्रमा मनसो जातचक्षुः सूर्यो वजायत श्रोत्राद्वायुश्च प्राणश्च मुखादग्निरजायत मन में बसा कर तेरी मूर्ति उतारू मैं मैया तेरी आरती मांगू तुझसे क्या मैं यही सोचूं मैया जिंदगी जब तेरे नाम कर दी अर्पण सब कुछ तेरा कुछ नहीं मेरा.
So the Prime Minister there performs the Ganga Aarati, and after that is going to interact with saints and seers. It's a very significant message about cleaning of rivers. This is all about India's civilizational, Bharat's civilization. It's all about being near our rivers, and all our prayers, Shiv Kumar ji, are about our civilization close to our rivers from Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, Sindhu. It starts with Sindhu all the way down to Kaveri. We are a country that's blessed to be living close to our civilizational rivers.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I said earlier, there is no Purana, there is no text, there is no community text, there is no informal text, there is no practice that is not associated with a river in India. And the civilization knows how important the flow of the river is. The flow of the river is Rita for India, and Rita is the most important civilizational concept from which all other civilizational dimensions have emerged. One who sees Rita is Rishi. So the Nadi is that representative of Rita, and its seamless flow, pure flow, clean flow is important not just for the material dimension of the civilization, but for the spiritual growth of every individual. I would also like to draw attention to how Mahabharata praises river Saraswati itself, which is Guptagamini in this place where Balarama goes on a Tirtha Yatra on the banks of river Saraswati, where 25 different Tirtha Kshetras are described. Finally, when Balarama is leaving, it is described like this by Vyasa,
Yes.
that Balarama keeps on looking back at the river Saraswati and tells himself that the beauty of the river Saraswati is such. Anybody who has lived on its bank, whether it is in Ihaloka or in Paraloka, one will never be able to forget it, and will constantly look forward to come back to river Saraswati. This kind of an affinity and love and devotion and respect towards river, you can see in every single town, whether it is Adishankara in Kalati for Purnanadi, whether it is in the Tunga River, whether it is in the rivers, Narmada River. Every kshetra, every river basin has evolved itself a Purana around the rivers. And this consciousness definitely needs to be brought back. And all important satras have happened on the banks of river.
Oh, absolutely. And Dr. Arun Krishnan, before I bring in, my colleague Samar Srivastav once again about that conversation that will happen with the Acharya Mahamandaleshwars of the Akhadas, whether you look at the Kumbh Melas that are held, Ujjain, Shipra is the river, Nasik, Godavari is the river, Haridwar, again Ma Ganga, Prayagraj, the Triveni of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. So these rivers play a very significant role. And when they say about Amritva, the Amrit is the water of these rivers.
Exactly. Like Shiv Kumar said, the rivers have they're the foundation of our civilization, right? Our civilization grew up on the banks of Ma Saraswati, and we honor her racial memory in the form of Goddess Saraswati, right? She is the one who gives us, education and all the arts, and in a way that's a racial memory that we are honoring, because and I hate the use of the term mythical river Saraswati. There is no myth about it.
Yes.
It is not mythical. It's been clearly proven that there was a river Saraswati. As Shivkumar said, the Mahabharata has clear indications when Balarama goes on his pilgrimage that the river is drying up. The Rig Veda has it's called the best of mothers, the best of rivers, the best of goddesses. So we know for a fact that Saraswati used to flow. It was a mighty river. And I would like to point you to this excellent book by Dr. Michel Danino, The Lost River on the Trail of the Saraswati, where he's given tons of evidence from folklore, the Vedas, archaeology, local practices, history, geology, hydrology, meteorology, etc., showing that there was a cataclysmic, earthquake or something like that, where the river had changed. And so the rivers that fed the Saraswati got diverted into the Ganga and then also up into the Sindhu River. So the rivers, and we have the Nadi Sukta, Nadi Stuti Sukta from the Rig Veda, which clearly talks about the 7 great rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, and all of that. So rivers have played a critical role in Bharat's civilization, in Sanatan civilization, and it is only fit. And I was listening to your conversation earlier where you were bemoaning the fact that Yamuna ji is so, we have spoiled it, and it's on us. And it's on us to clean them up and to revere them.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And perhaps, as we reconnect with our roots, that's the effort civilizationally. As we reconnect with our roots, we will understand the significance why this is so important for our civilization to continue and flourish. And Samarth, some of the saints and seers are talking about it in a very big way. The Acharya Mahamandaleshwars that the Prime Minister will be interacting with, the Shaiv Akhadas, the Bairagi Akhadas, the Udasin Akhadas, the Nirmal Akhada, all of them just show that collectively they may have their differences in how they pray, who they pray to, where they stay, but civilizationally everyone is coming together in this melting pot called the Prayagraj Mahakumbh as they now move to Kashi.
Well, exactly, Gaurav. We see, as I said, the beliefs could have been different. Their Ishtadev could have been different. But at one point, at the point of Sanatan Dharma, all Akhadas, all Mahamandaleshwar, all Acharya Mahamandaleshwar come together on one platform, and that is Purna Mahakumbh, which is happening in Prayagraj, and that's why all are together. They don't have any difference. Even if they have forgotten everything for this mega Mahotsav, for this mega Mela of Mahakumbh that's happening after 144 years, once in a lifetime of every human being, whether he is a common man, whether he is a doctor, physician, or a saint, they don't know this particular thing. And at a time when at this particular event, when Prime Minister of India comes and they get the chance to interact with him, and even Prime Minister gets a chance to interact with the Acharya Mahamandaleshwars, the protectors of Sanatan Dharma, it's a feeling, it's the sacred feeling from both the ends. As for PM, it's because he's looking into the politics, defense, everything. He's controlling the entire nation.
Yes.
And then he gets a space to take the holy dip in Triveni and gets a chance to interact with the Acharya Mahamandaleshwar. While on the other hand, Acharya Mahamandaleshwar had got the chance to interact with the Prime Minister of India. Back to you.
It's interesting how they say that this water rejuvenates you. Nandita Pandeyji, it's said it's the planets, it's the stars, and you were just mentioning a short while back how Brihaspati or Jupiter, how that moves into Taurus when we talk about Prayagraj, and the way, the energy that's created, and several Mahamandaleshwars we spoke to, they said that energy is transferred to your body when you take that holy dip. The Prime Minister rejuvenated the various saints and seers who've taken a dip over the 3 Amrit Snans. They stand rejuvenated. The effort now, as one of the Mahamandaleshwars was telling me, is to spread Sanatan through scientific knowledge. That is the change that we see. It's through science that they're rediscovering their past. And perhaps that's a very significant message.
Yes, and this is beautifully explained by you. When we talk about our seers and saints, and in the ancient times, they were just not saints, they were scientists. We would call Bhugol. Bhu means Bhumi and Gol means round. So we were calling Bhugol, the earth, as Bhugol, way back somewhere around 5000 BC, and Rig Veda also it is mentioned like Bhugol. So you look at the amount of scientific knowledge they had. Even now, when the water is considered, the whole process of the royal bathing, the Amrit Snan, is the first step that is taken, the first dip that is taken by is the Naga sadhus and the Mahamandaleshwars and their akhadas, and then the general public. Why is general public in the last of the line? Is because the water gets purified by the divine energy that these sadhus have in them. Now, there is a, like you said, scientific. I would want to mention Dr. Imomoto. He was a Japanese scientist, and he did the specific experiment on water. So he kept certain bottles of water, and on each bottle he wrote a certain name. Like he wrote a word where he wrote love, he wrote hatred, he wrote jealousy, he wrote peace, and he no, to a bottle with the word mentioned love, he would just send a lot of loving energies. To the bottle where it was mentioned hatred, he would send a lot of hatred energy. And just 1 week. In that 1 week, then he took the droplets of the water, and under the microscope, he saw the crystals. The bottles which had love, peace, and happiness written on them had beautiful crystals. But the ones which had hatred and jealousy and anger in them were broken crystals. They were not broken, they were broken diagrams. So this specifically actually signifies how water imbibes the thoughts and the process and the energy. This is a confluence of three powerful rivers, and then the sadhus and the sannyasis and the ascetics are taking a dip in it, who have probably the entire year and for 12 years they've meditated and they've accumulated that power. They're the powerhouse of this divine energy inputs. And when they take that dip, it gets amplified by this divine energy. Similarly, all the disciples and all the public who are also coming around, they're also coming with the entire devotion. So their thought, their mantras, everything is kind of creating that vibrancy in that energy. It is getting amplified by the thoughts and the prayers
rejuvenating the Sanatan, the effort to bring in the younger generation, bring in the newer generation. And Anand Nilkantanji, when I was interacting and just watching at times the different akhadas there was so much curiosity to know where the Naga sadhus come from, how they train, how they go back, whether it's to the Aranya or the forest or to the Giris, to the mountains. I think the new generation wants to know more about, one, the Sanatan Dharma, two, what many people are only now once again relearning. The akhadas played a very critical role in fighting invasions by the Afghans, in fighting the Mughals, including Aurangzeb, in fighting the British. Rani Lakshmi Bai went to the akhadas right here in Prayagraj to fight the British, and the Naga sadhus did that.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go on, Anand Nilkantanji.
They have played a significant role in right from before, during the Mughal age, before that also, right from the Islamic invasion, then later during the British period, during the freedom struggle. And I think we are not being taught much about their role in the history books. But notwithstanding that, now I wish, this is my wish, that they start, they take the leadership now to clean up the rivers. It is not just the government can do this. The intentions have been good, but we are living in a, let us admit that we are living in a very filthy air and filthy water, irrespective of all the great projects with great intention, because the people are not changed. Just the government cannot change, the people are not changed.
Yes.
Perhaps it is time for the spiritual leadership to take the lead and ensure that when they are meeting the Prime Minister, ensure that on an emergency basis, the river, the air, the cities, all are remaining filthy even now, irrespective of our effect. We have all the slokas, we have all the philosophies that shows great reverence to the rivers, to the nature, everything. But in the last 100 years, we have messed everything up. Even now, despite spending so many crores and effort, still our rivers remain polluted, cities remain polluted. We have some of the greatest polluted air and water and land now.
Yes.
I think Now we don't have any external enemies to fight, neither Mughals nor British East India Company. It is Indian democracy. Indian people have chosen the government. Now the fight is against our own attitude on how the common people, all of us are treating the nature.
Very
We have
interesting
to-
point you raised there, Dr. Arun Krishnan. The significant role played by akhadas, they are the protectors of the Sanatan Dharma, the Sanatan way of life, but not many of us know their critical role, and especially the Naga sadhus, the sacrifices they made, whether it's protecting the Gyanvapi or the effort they made to protect Gyanvapi, fighting Aurangzeb, fighting Mughals, Rani Lakshmi Bai approaching them to fight the British. And, one of the, at the Juna Akhada, I learned that more than 700 Naga sadhus had died fighting the British along with Rani Lakshmi Bai, because she sought their help in fighting the British as she moved from Kalpi, came to Prayagraj, sought their help in her last battle. They were right there with her.
Yes, Gaurav, and this is so typical of our education system, right? We haven't been taught a lot about our own heroes, and this is just another manifestation of the same disease, if I may call it. But one of the things that when I went to Kumbh about 2 weeks ago, I had the great opportunity to sit with a sadhu, and I don't know if you just grant me a brief 30 seconds. I just want to recount that experience. I've always considered myself as, I've been a scientist, a rationalist. The Overton window has shifted, right? Because maybe before 2010, I wouldn't even have thought of going to the Kumbh. But this time when I went there and we were going through the akhadas, there was a particular sadhu who was sitting there. He had very sharp eyes. And for whatever reason, I felt this overpowering desire to go and sit and talk with him. So I went and sat. I said, this is how I've been. And he cut through all my faff and said, okay, what is it that your question actually is? And I said, well, we're taught that the Gita teaches us 3 different margs, right? Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga. I said, which is the best? He looks at me, this sharp-eyed, keen-eyed look, and he says, Seva Marg. First do seva for your parents, then do it for your family, and then do it for your society. Now, my daughters were with me, and when we came out, and my younger one was saying, this man made more sense in 2 minutes than some of the greatest philosophers she might have read, right? Because it was just short, succinct, cutting to the root of the problem, and now I kind of understand why we Bharatiyas have always gone to these sadhus who might be ash smeared and ash covered, but there is something about them, there's something about what they have learned that it is very important for us to imbibe.
Yes, Samarth, that's the significant message that we saw all along. In our civilization, Samarth, when we hear about Raja Dashrath and Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram, Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram is an ideal son. And we learn that in our history all along, the saints, the seers, that's exactly what they teach at this place, and in so simply.
Well, exactly, Gaurav. As we know, that legacy of Raja Dashrath was carried forward by Lord Sri Ram, and what he did in Ayodhya, the Ram Rajya, which we still miss, which we still consider to be the best for India. The Ram Rajya, the definition of Ram Rajya was very well established by Lord Sri Ram, and that is why it becomes very, very important for us to understand about the legacy that Raja Dashrath or Raja Ram left behind, and that's what we should follow, because it is being said that everyone was happily living in the Ram Rajya that was in Ayodhya decades back. So yes, we do have to wait for that particular time. It also depends on the people we are in, because this is also that was Satyug, and this is also Kalyug. So that's a major difference as well. But if you talk about the current situation of rivers, as we were just speaking about the cleanliness efforts are being made by the government, be it in center or in the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also having a deep interest about the cleanliness drive in the river, especially in Ganga, and that's why it becomes very, very important for us as a citizen to take care of these things, not to pollute the river by throwing waste in it, be it Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. So that's the thing, that's a sense we must have. But you see, with PM Modi coming here, it's a message politically as well, because we know there's voting happening in Milkipur, also in Delhi. So PM's attachment to Uttar Pradesh, especially to the religious places like Varanasi and Prayagraj, also leaves a vibration, an impact to the voters as well. So if you see politically, so that could also be a boost for BJP about this particular PM visit on the day when voting is on in Delhi and Ayodhya as well. Back to you.
And the ideal son, Dr. Arun Krishnan was talking about the message of Kumbh that he carried. The sadhus were telling him that look after parents. That's the most important message that comes out. And Shiv Kumar ji, that is exactly what our history, our culture, our civilization teaches us. To be an ideal son is to be like Shravan Kumar or be like Raja Ram.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, this emphasis is through and through in all our texts. And, I would like to draw attention to one more story in Mahabharata, where a Brahmana, Kaushika, leaves his parents to go for a deep penance. And finally, he is guided to learn about Dharma from a Dharma Vyadha by a householder, Grihini. And then Dharma Vyadha teaches him Dharma. And finally, when Kaushika asks him, what is the source of your clarity? Then Dharmavyada says and takes him to his parents and says that I take care of my parents and I perform the seva of my parents and my fraternity. And it is through that I have developed this clarity. And that really raises his consciousness. And then he decides to go back to his house. So this taking care of the parents, ensuring all seva has to start bottom up. And if we have taken care of our immediate contexts, only then we will earn the ability that tapasya is required for us to be able to perform a yajna at a national or a civilizational level. If we have not performed tapasya at a local level, then we don't earn the spiritual right to be able to do anything significant in a bigger context. So Purana after Purana, story after story, has emphasized this in Sanatana Dharma.
And as we look at these images, the Prime Minister waving to the devotees who are there, waiting to take a dip at the Triveni, and Panchkosi Triveni, as the sadhus and saints there are saying that it's not just restricted to that exact point of confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Ma Saraswati, but all along that area during Mahakumbh, 15 kilometers of ghats that's been created. It's equally auspicious to take a dip anywhere in that Sangam area. Post that tragedy that took place during Moni Amavasya, all the ghats are now being called Sangam 1, 2, 3, 4. They are being numbered as such and not just head to the Triveni nose. This perhaps should have been done much earlier. Crowd control. You live and learn. It needs to be done better each time. Even now, there are two more snans, important snans that remain. Samarth, one is the Magh Purnima snan on the 12th of February and then the Mahashivratri snan on the 26th of February. And that's where the largest crowds of devotees are expected now, Samarth.
Well, exactly, Gaurav. There might be the end of the Amrit Snans in the form of Makar Sankranti, Moni Amavasya, and the recently concluded Basant Panchami. But the Maghi Purnima on 12th and 26th Mahashivratri are also the major snans. Though the Khadas will be moving to Kashi, but a lot of saints will still be there because only the sannyasi akhadas will be moving to Kashi for the Mahashivratri and Masana Holi, but not all akhadas. So it's worth mentioning that the Maghi Purnima Snan will also see a lot of footfall. And also and also about the Mahashivratri and also about the Maghi Purnima. So that's why we can expect that the footfall would increase this time, because we see in the first three snans, many families were planning that we must plan a visit to Mahakumbh after the three snans, because they were expecting a higher footfall, a stampede-like situation, what actually happened in Mauni Amavasya. So that's why many families avoid touring to Mahakumbh, to Prayagraj due to these reasons. And now that's why these families are coming in large numbers to ensure that they take a holy dip. If you see the visuals out here, you just get to understand about the numbers around the Sangam area, about the area which leads to Letewe Hanumanji temple. You see a lot of families with their carry bags, with their trolleys, with their bottles, they've got the Sangam water in it. So they are moving in large numbers all across this particular area. This is the area, the adjoining road, which connects to the Sangam Marg and also to the Letewe Hanumanji. So you cannot say that three Amrit Snans have gone so that people or devotees won't come here. The picture is quite different. We were reporting on Basant Panchami, and the pictures on Basant Panchami were quite different. As you see, this is one temple where a lot of devotees come, this Shiv temple, and this particular road leads to Letewe Hanumanji, while the other adjoining road moves to the Sangam area. So we saw on the day of Basant Panchami, the number of devotees were quite less as compared to the earlier snans, maybe due to the stampede or due to the time they were planning to move after the three Amrit snans. But now the situation is changed. The number of devotees have increased, and that is why you see scores of devotees rushing here, coming here to get the chance to take the holy dip. There are also many families who are not planning Saturday, Sundays, because they believe that on Saturday, Sunday there would be a lot larger footfall, and that's why they are planning their trips to Mahakumbh on the day between Monday to Thursday. So that is why it becomes very, very important for them to come here, because nobody wants to miss this particular event, because this Mahakumbh is Purna Mahakumbh, which is happening after 144 long years, and that's why it becomes very, very crucial to make others and the devotees understand about the value, the power of spiritualism, which not just Indians but the Russians, Americans, and the people from Colombo are in a way awestruck seeing the spiritual power of India. And that's what we know about the India, the Hindustan, the Bharat. So that's why this Mahakumbh is very important. Also, if you talk about the Akhada,
Significant point you make there, and I want to bring in Anand Neelkanthan into this conversation. Samarth, on that point that you've just made, and we saw this, Anand Neelkanthan ji, at the ISKCON camp. Russia and Ukraine are at war, but at the ISKCON camp, Russian and Ukrainian devotees of Lord Krishna, they're living together, praying together, worshipping together, taking a dip at the Triveni together, and praying for peace in their respective countries. It's amazing how this country is actually uniting, or this culture is uniting even enemies across.
The message of Indian civilization has been always that even before, when there were a lot of kingdoms in India, they might be at war with each other, but the Kumbh Mela continued. Whether it was in Nasik, Haridwar, or Ujjain, or Prayag, the Kumbh Mela has continued without any issues, irrespective of the wars and political issues, because spirituality is beyond any political differences or war. So that has been the tradition. I think the same thing is getting repeated with Russian and Ukrainian devotees who have come for the Kumbh Mela. It doesn't matter what are the political strifes and wars happening. Once you come to Kumbh Mela, you understand that these things are irrelevant, and life is much beyond this. That itself is a message of Kumbh Mela, right? That is why it teaches humility, it teaches our place in the universe, it teaches how great, infinite, and how small we are, all at the same time.
Does this then send out that wider message even within a country? And I'll come to what foreigners were saying about the Kumbh Mela, the large number of foreigners that Samarth and I interacted with. But Nandita Pandeyji, within a country, those who seek to divide the Sanatan Dharma followers in various castes or creed or sect and seek to keep them divided, perhaps Kumbh sends out a completely different message of Sanatan Dharma followers to them.
Kumbh itself signifies Metaphorically, if I have to speak, the kumbh, the picture is about your physical self, and the water inside, or the nectar or elixir inside, is about our spiritual enlightenment. In Sanatan Dharma, I said, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. That means everyone, every sentient being is thought about as one and equal. There is no demarcation as such. And the Kumbh signifies that where caste, creed, anything is just like, there is no question about who is like a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Shudra or a Vaishya. They all come, they take that holy dip. They're all one and equal. There is a humbleness in the entire approach. The spiritual path it's all about attaining moksha or liberation or attaining a spiritual path. And the akhadas or the ascetics there or the Naga sadhus, they also are significance of the kind of sacrifices they've made to reach that state. It's not easy being a Naga sadhu also. There's a whole process of 12 years first when they are selected, they're recruited, then they are under observation, whether they are celibate or not, whether they are spiritual or not, whether they can really come up to that mark of being a warrior, or also simultaneously have that Vedic knowledge to defend the Sanatan Dharma. But then defending Sanatan Dharma doesn't mean only fighting. It means protecting the philosophy of life, not letting anything that interference into my thing, your thing, or this thing or that thing, my dharma or your dharma. It is a universal dharma. The Sanatan Dharma is the way one lives or leads a life. And the beauty of this is the Kumbh Mela, where everyone comes, submerges into and takes this holy dip and the confluence of these three rivers here. It's a beautiful projection. And I think in India, it's high time the entire public or even the younger generation should actually essentially take a look into the spiritual significance of this Kumbh. It is not just religious sentiments. It's about the confluence of all and everyone together. When you all embark on a journey of spiritual enlightenment or inner enlightenment, forget about spiritual word as well. A lot of people might think about why spiritual is being used. It's about inner enlightenment and inner consciousness. When your own subconscious mind is equated with somebody else's subconscious mind. And here when we talk about Sanatan is about quantum physics. Again, when we were talking about science, because we all are energy, the thoughts are energy. We were all born as a human being first. It was never like, it is the society or the environmental projections that makes us decide which dharma and all. But Sanatan Dharma is so beautiful. It's like, you believe in one God, you are still a Sanatani. You don't believe in God, you are still a Sanatani. You want to question about the existence of God, you're still a Sanatani.
But there is a change. But there is a change that is coming. Shiv Kumarji, now there is no running down religion. That is one thing which is becoming very, very clear. There appears to be a new consciousness that's rising. That an effort was initially made that you run down the Sanatan Dharma followers. Everything to do with Sanatan Dharma was described as bad. Only then you would be seen as modern or progressive. That change is now coming in our society.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think rightly pointed out by you, Gauravji. I think the critical transformation that has happened in the recent years is that we have reclaimed the centrality of the sacred and the position of the religion, the Hindu religion, in pursuing the sacred journey and its critical importance in every aspect of life, including the material. So I think the Purushartha consciousness is evolving, that Artha and Kama alone cannot bring the kind of well-being, the kind of happiness, harmony, and even health that we need in our lives and in the society. We've stopped looking at life from the limited lens of Artha and Kama because we've realized that it is a conflict-ridden universe. This conflict
and ultimate aim remains moksha, or a salvation from the cycle of birth and death, but after doing good work, good for family, good for self, and good for society. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me on this very enlightening discussion on the Mahakumbh. I need to slip into a quick break here. When we come back on the other side, it's the Mahakumbh of democracy. It's the festival of democracy that we celebrate. We talk about voting that's happening in Delhi, and it's actually picked up pace in a very big way in several seats, several constituencies. Details coming up. Stay with us.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hey Google, how do I do a wing liner? AI Ray. Flip the script with the new Motorola Razr 50 series.
Hello, Moto.
They decode the complex, making sense of the battle for power. They stand for trust, built over decades, earned with every analysis, every trend. They question.
सारी दिल्ली को शराबी बना दिया.
They challenge.
अभी जो सरकार आई हुई है लोग बाग खाने के भी लाले पड़े हुए हैं.
They report to empower your choice.
We don't want LG taking our decisions. We don't have that kind of access to him.
They are your eyes on the ground, always there, where every vote matters. They are the election dream team.
मतदान महान दान है. मतदान प्रजातंत्र की ऑक्सीजन है. प्रजातंत्र का आधार मतदान है. मतदान सब अधिकारों की जननी है. इससे सर्वोपरि कोई अधिकार नहीं है. प्रजातंत्र का महत्व तब है जब हर व्यक्ति अपना मतदान विवेकपूर्ण तरीके से, स्वतंत्रता से और देश के लिए करे.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
दिल्ली की जनता को क्या कहेंगे? बस दिल्ली को कहेंगे कि आज दिल्ली को बचा लीजिए. दिल्ली को झूठ, लूट, प्रपंच, छल, भ्रांति, भ्रम ऐसा करने वालों से बचा लीजिए. 5 साल के लिए आप मोदी जी के डबल इंजन के साथ एक बार दिल्ली को अपने बच्चों के भविष्य के लिए, अपने भविष्य के लिए, आने वाली दिल्ली के लिए ऐसा करके बस देख लीजिए, यही मेरी प्रार्थना है। दिल्ली को पूरी तरह से विकसित दिल्ली हो, बच्चे 9वीं में फेल ना हो, बच्चे 11वीं में फेल ना हो, हमारा चेहरा बचाने की जगह बच्चों का भविष्य बचाने की जद्दोजहद हो, उस दिल्ली के लिए। और सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा है कि दिल्ली की गली में नाले का पानी न बहे, दिल्ली की गलियां टूटी न हो, दिल्ली की गलियों में जाते समय लोगों को राष्ट्रीय राजधानी क्षेत्र में रहने का सुख हो, उसके लिए आज वोट करेंगे और ये सब हम करके दे देंगे, ये हमारा संकल्प बता रहा है। देखो, गुंडागर्दी तो ऐसी दिखाई आम आदमी पार्टी ने कि पूरा सीए के विरुद्ध पूरा दिल्ली को जला दिया। गुंडागर्दी ऐसी दिखाई कि उनका पार्षद दंगे का मास्टरमाइंड आया। गुंडागर्दी ऐसी दिखाई कि मनोज तिवारी को उसी के संसदीय क्षेत्र में सिग्नेचर ब्रिज से ढकेला गया। गुंडागर्दी जिसको कहते हैं, वो आज वो लोग जाएंगे और बीजेपी आ रही है।
Breaking news coming in, the BJP has hit out at what it calls is burqa voting that's happening in Seelampur. The BJP is claiming that fake voting is happening. Women wearing burqas, they're not showing their identity papers and they're voting. So this burqa battle is intensifying in the Seelampur area and it's leading to a ruckus in that area. I want to cut across and listen in to Himanshu reporting from Seelampur.
रहता है तो एमसीसी के साथ साथ जो तमाम जो डीएम के अंदर जो चुनाव आयोग के अधिकारी हैं वो भी राउंड पे रहते हैं और सीधा एक्शन वही लेते हैं। इस वक्त जो कुछ भी हुआ तो दिल्ली पुलिस का कहना है कि इन्वेस्टिगेशन की जाएगी। जो भी आरोप लगे हैं, चाहे वो पूनम जो महिला यहाँ पर लगा रही थी या दूसरी कोई भी महिला लगा रही थी, तो उन आरोपों की जांच की जाएगी। लेकिन हंगामा करना ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि आप देखिए ये पूरा इलाका अगर आप देखेंगे तो एक तो घनी बस्ती का इलाका आप देखिए, काफ़ी नजदीक यहाँ पर घनी बस्ती का इलाका है, काफ़ी कंजस्टेड इलाका है और यहाँ पर कई सारे पोलिंग बूथ ऐसे हैं जो सेंसिटिव हैं। तो ऐसे में किसी भी तरीके का हो हंगामा उचित नहीं है। जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सिचुएशन है उसको देखने के लिए यहाँ पर पुलिस तैनात है। पुलिस आप शिकायत दीजिए और एक्शन लिया जाएगा। तो गनीमत यही रही कि लोगों ने बात मानी, बात सुनी और उसके बाद स्थिति काफ़ी हद तक, देखिए सबसे पहले तो पोलिंग बूथ खुल गया। आप देखिए यहाँ पर अब लोग वोट देने लगे, जाने लगे और यहाँ पर लंबी लाइन आपको वोटर्स की नजर आएगी। जो लंबी लाइन है पूरी वो वोटर्स की नजर आएगी। आप दोनों तरफ देख सकते हैं, एक तरफ फीमेल और दूसरी तरफ जो मेल की लाइन है वो आपको दूर तक आपको यहाँ पर नजर आएगी। पुलिस अधिकारी भी यहाँ पर आपको लगातार अपने मोबाइल से भी वीडियो बनाते हुए नजर आएंगे। आप देखिए जो पुलिस अधिकारी है यहाँ पर वो सब लोग यहाँ पर अपने मोबाइल से भी वीडियो बना रहे हैं ताकि एक एक लोगों की शक्ल वो कैप्चर रहे। अगर कोई बाद में इसकी जांच की जाएगी, जो तमाम मोबाइल फोन है, अगर कोई इस मोबाइल फुटेज में भी कोई संदिग्ध नजर आता है तो उसके खिलाफ भी कार्रवाई की जाएगी बाद में इन्वेस्टिगेशन की। तो गनीमत ये रही कि एक तो ज़्यादा देर जो वोटिंग सेंटर है वो बंद नहीं रहा, नंबर एक, और नंबर दो हालात बिगड़ा नहीं। जो लोग यहाँ पर हंगामा कर रहे थे पुलिस ने उनको समझा और अपने साथ लेकर के चली गई। तो ये जो कंडीशन है आप देख सकती है फिलहाल की है और धीरे धीरे जो इस इलाके की भीड़ थी वो काफ़ी हद तक यहाँ से हट गई है, छट गई है और पूरे इलाके को सिक्योर कर लिया गया है। श्वेता,
emergency forces that are on standby, they've been brought in, the Central Armed Police Forces, to ensure that the situation does not go out of control. What we are being told is that the Bharatiya Janata Party alleged fake voting was on in the Seelampur area. A mob congregated. Look at those images. Delhi police personnel standing by to ensure that the situation does not take a turn for the worse. Look at these images. Look at these images that are coming in from Seelampur. In East Delhi, in Northeast Delhi, there was sloganeering. There were protests about fake voting by women in burqa, not showing their identity papers. But then the question remains, how were they permitted, if at all? If these allegations are true, how were they permitted? Because officials there, polling officials there, check identity papers and then permit an individual to vote. I want to bring in my colleague Arvind Ojha for more on this. Arvind, ये जो सीलमपुर में आरोप भारतीय जनता पार्टी लगा रही है कि बुरके में महिलाएं वोट डाल रही है बिना अपने दस्तावेज दिखाए, इसमें कितनी सच्चाई है?
देखिए, आरोप है, आरोप लगाया गया। और आपको बताऊं, जो सीलमपुर का इलाका है, जाफराबाद चांदबाग का इलाका है, मुस्लिम बाहुल इलाका है, वहां पर बीजेपी के नेताओं ने ये आरोप लगाया है कि कई पोलिंग बूथ पर बुरके में जो फर्जी तरीके से वोटिंग हो रही है। उसके बाद काफी हंगामा भी सीलमपुर इलाके में हुआ। हालांकि जो पुलिस है वो मौके पर मौजूद है, जो इलेक्शन के अधिकारी हैं वो बिल्कुल इस चीज को देखेंगे, लेकिन ये एक आरोप लगाया गया है कि बुरके में बड़े पैमाने पर फर्जी वोटिंग हो रही है। उसके बाद कुछ हंगामा हुआ, जिसकी तस्वीरें भी इंडिया टुडे के पास है। तो फिलहाल ये आरोप लगाए गए हैं। कई बार इस तरह के आरोप इसलिए भी लगाए जाते हैं, गौरव, ताकि जो मतदान है वो प्रॉपर तरीके से चल सके। तो फिलहाल ये आरोप है और इस आरोप के बाद काफी हंगामा भी सीलमपुर इलाके में देखने को मिला, जिसमें पहले कुछ नेता आते हैं बीजेपी के, उसके बाद और अधिक संख्या बढ़ती है और उनका ये आरोप है कि बुरके में फर्जी वोटिंग कराई जा रही है एक पार्टी की तरफ से। उसके बाद ये हंगामा काफी बढ़ गया है। तो फिलहाल पुलिस मौके पर मौजूद है। हालांकि जो वोटिंग है वो पूरी तरह से चल रही है, वोटिंग बिल्कुल भी बंद नहीं हुई है। गौरव,
ये जो चुनावी लड़ाई है, ये बहुत, चाहे आप चांदबाग के इस इलाके की बात करें, जाफराबाद की, या फिर दक्षिण दिल्ली की, हम अलग अलग रिपोर्ट्स दिखाएंगे। बट फॉर अ मोमेंट लेट्स डिप इन एंड लिसन इन टू माय कलीग हिमांशु।
यहाँ से हटाया गया, तुरंत हटाया गया। और दूसरी तरफ जो उम्मीदवार हैं जो इस जगह से चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं, तमाम बीजेपी के, कांग्रेस के, आम आदमी पार्टी के, उनसे भी पुलिस ने बात की और बोला कि भाई सब कुछ नॉर्मल है और यहाँ पर लोगों की भीड़ न जुटे, इसका ध्यान रखने की जरूरत है। तो आप ये देखिए किस तरीके से इस एक दीवार बना दी गई है। आप देखिए वोटिंग स्टेशन के बाद यहाँ पर आप देखिए तो अधिकारी हैं, केंद्रीय रिजर्व पुलिस है, तो एक तरीके से पूरी दीवार बना दी गई है कि अंदर जो पूरा इलाका है वो सुरक्षित है। वोट देने जो लोग आ रहे हैं, जिनके पास वैलिड डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, वो यहाँ पे वोट दे सकते हैं। और अगर किसी को कोई ग्रीवेंसेस है या किसी तरीके की शिकायत है या फर्जी वोटिंग की किसी तरीके की, तो वो शिकायत भी यहाँ पर दे सकता है और फौरन उस पर कार्रवाई का, दिल्ली पुलिस से जो हमारे आला अधिकारियों से बात हुई, उनका कहना है कि फौरन वो उस पर कार्रवाई करेंगे। तो यहाँ पर देखिए एक जो लंबी लाइन लगी हुई है। हम कुछ लोगों से, श्वेता, यहाँ पर बात अगर करने की कोशिश करें, देखें अगर कोई तैयार होता है, क्या आप लोग बात करेंगे?
कर लो सर, बात, बच्चा ही रो रहा है हमारा, तो बच्चा ही रो रहा है, ये बात करने देगा।
कितनी देर हो गई?
काफी देर हो गई।
काफी देर हो गई, तो हंगामे की वजह से ही देर हुई ना?
जी, भीड़ हो रही है ना बहुत ज्यादा। हाँ, तो जा नहीं
तो देखिए लोगों को बस अब ऐसी कोई शिकायत फिलहाल जो लाइन में उनको कि भाई भीड़ हो गई है ज्यादा और थोड़ी देर तक बंद भी रहा था। तो फिलहाल हम कह सकते हैं श्वेता कि ये जो पूरा जो माहौल है वो शांत हो चुका है, स्थिति पूरी तरीके से पुलिस के कंट्रोल में है और साथ ही साथ पुलिस का कहना है कि जो शिकायत थी उस पर भी कार्रवाई की जा रही है।
So what the police are also doing, as you can see in these images, is those who've been waiting in the queue for a very long time, and especially those with little children, they are being permitted to jump the queue, move ahead, cast their ballot and then go back. But just a short while back, these were protests that were taking place at the Chandbagh, Jafrabad area of Seelampur. a constituency in northeast Delhi where the Bharatiya Janata Party alleged that women in burqa were going in to vote without showing their identity papers, and they alleged fake voting by burqa-clad women. Of course, election commission teams and flying squads are there based on the BJP's allegation. We are told a team of Delhi police and the flying squad, they got to this area. It led to some disruption, some delays, as you can see in these images, and immediately after that, voting resumed. A lot of this process is also videographed so that you know that there is no illegality in this. The Election Commission ensures that there are also workers of political parties who are monitoring every development that's taking place. But this is what makes these allegations extremely critical at this point of time, and these allegations are being leveled not just in one area. Just a short while back, there was a very heated argument even in South Delhi, where there was a heated argument between Ankit Chauhan, DCP, and Saurabh Bharadwaj of the Aam Aadmi Party. So you have on one side in northeast Delhi allegations being leveled by the BJP, in South Delhi allegations being leveled by the Aam Aadmi Party. But before I go to South Delhi, I want to bring in Himanshu Mishra for more on this. Himanshu, ये एकाएक किस आधार पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने आरोप लगाया कि बुरके में महिलाएं फर्जी वोटिंग कर रही हैं, किस आधार पर?
देखिए, ये अचानक से कभी कभी क्या होता है कि जब आप वोटिंग, जहां पर ये जगह है, सबसे पहले मैं बताऊं, ये गोंडा का इलाका है, गोंडा चौक है इसको कहते हैं, और काफी भीड़ वाला इलाका है। आप अभी भी अगर देखेंगे तो आपको लंबी लाइनें दोनों तरफ, आप एक तरफ आप देखिए यहाँ पे महिलाओं की, दूसरी तरफ आपको पुरुष की लंबी लाइनें दिखेंगी। और उसके बाद अगर हम बात करें तो क्या हुआ कि अचानक से बीजेपी के कुछ कार्यकर्ता पहुंचे और उन्होंने कहा कि कुछ महिलाएं जो बुरके में आई हैं वो फर्जी वोटिंग का आरोप लगाया। और इसी दौरान जैसे हमारे कैमरे पर एक महिला आई, गौरव और पूनम नाम था उनका ये कहना था कि जब वो पहुंची वोट देने तो वोट उनका दिया जा चुका था। तो इस तरीके की बात पर अचानक से हंगामा उन्होंने करना यहाँ पे जैसे ही शुरू किया कुछ कार्यकर्ताओं ने, फौरन पुलिस ने जो सबसे पहला काम तो ये किया कि इसको बंद कर दिया जो गेट है, ताकि किसी तरीके का हंगामे का असर पोलिंग बूथ पर न पड़े। और फौरन जो लोग यहाँ पर हंगामा कर रहे थे उनको यहाँ से हटाया और कहा अगर किसी तरीके की आपको शिकायत देनी है, कोई कंप्लेन है तो वो आप दे सकते हैं, हम फौरन उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई करेंगे। क्योंकि ये पूरा इलाका, आप बाहर से जब वोट देने आते हैं और वोट जब देने जाते हैं, जहाँ तक आप वोट देते हैं तो सीसीटीवी कैमरा लगा हुआ है, एक एक चीज कैप्चर हो रहा है। आपकी कोई भी शिकायत होगी तो उस पर कार्रवाई की जाएगी, जो भी अगर दोषी निकला तो उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी। लगातार हमने देखा कि तकरीबन 1000 से ज्यादा एफआईआर इस दौरान पिछले इलेक्शन के दौरान दर्ज हो चुके हैं। तो अगर जो भी शिकायत मिल रही है उस पर कार्रवाई हो रही है, तभी ये आंकड़े इतने ज्यादा हैं। और उसके बाद फिर पुलिस ने सबसे पहले बाहर से लोगों को हटाया, क्योंकि ये इलाका अपने आप में बहुत भीड़ वाला इलाका है। आप अगर देखेंगे चारों तरफ, यहाँ पर अगर 5 मिनट के लिए ट्रैफिक रुक जाए, जबकि आज सारे प्रतिष्ठान सब कुछ छुट्टी का दिन है, उसके बावजूद आप यहाँ के ट्रैफिक के हालात देख लीजिए। तो अगर यहाँ 5 मिनट के लिए लोग रुक जाते हैं, ट्रैफिक बंद हो जाता है, तो अंदाजा लगा लीजिए कि अपने आप कितनी भीड़ लग जाएगी। तो हुआ यही, अचानक से देखते ही देखते पूरे इलाके में भीड़ लग गई और हंगामा शुरू हो गया। लेकिन पुलिस ने फौरन उन लोगों को यहाँ से हटाया और कहा कि कार्रवाई की जाएगी। और फिर दूसरा काम किया कि तुरंत जो वोटिंग सेंटर है उसको ओपन करवाया, लाइनों को व्यवस्थित कराया और एक बार फिर से मुश्किल से कुछ ही मिनटों में ये दोबारा, आप देखिए किस तरीके से लाइनों को मेंटेन किया जा रहा है। इनके डॉक्यूमेंट्स को महिला पुलिसकर्मी जो है वो पहले ही चेक कर ले रही हैं, ताकि आगे जाकर के कोई कंफ्यूजन न हो, किसी तरीके की कोई कंफ्यूजन की स्थिति में फिर से माहौल न बिगड़े। तो इसलिए पहले ही पुलिस इन चीज़ों को संभाल ले रही है। और दूसरी तरफ अगर आप रोड की तरफ हम दिखाएंगे तो ये आप देखिए यहाँ पर केंद्रीय रिजर्व पुलिस के जवानों को तैनात किया गया है। एक तरीके से पूरी दीवार वोटिंग सेंटर के बाहर आप देखेंगे अगर गौरव, तो यहाँ पर क्रिएट कर दी गई है ताकि किसी तरीके की कोई गड़बड़ी ना हो, और इस पूरे इलाके में सुरक्षा बढ़ा दी गई है। तो महज कुछ देर तक यह हंगामा हुआ, पुलिस ने उसे कंट्रोल किया और अब सब कुछ यहाँ पर सामान्य है। पुलिस का कहना है कि अगर किसी भी तरीके की कोई शिकायत किसी को होगी तो वो पुलिस को कंप्लेन दे, जो लीगल एक्ट तरीका है वो तरीका अपनाया जाए ताकि माहौल और हालात न खराब हो। गौरव।
रहिए मेरे साथ बड़ी बात आप बता रहे हैं that women police constables of Delhi police, they are checking identity papers and then clearing. Are we getting a reaction from the South Delhi police in that image number 3 that you see on your television screen right now? Jangpura in South Delhi, Chirag Delhi in South Delhi, and Seelampur in East Delhi. 3 different areas that you notice there is ruckus that's being reported. In fact, Saurabh Bharadwaj and DCP South have also clashed. In Jangpura, the allegation is that voting is being influenced, and you can see Delhi's former Deputy Chief Minister is also very perturbed by what is happening. Manish Sisodia of the Aam Aadmi Party has alleged that money is being distributed in this building in Jangpura. Manish Sisodia actually confronted the Delhi police with this. The Aam Aadmi Party and BJP workers had a confrontation and sloganeering in Jangpura. So there's a pitched battle for every seat that's happening. Seelampur ruckus we've told you about in Chirag Delhi, in South Delhi District DCP Ankit Chauhan and Saurabh Bharadwaj, they clashed over barricading in this area. But let's listen in to voices on ground.
सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछा तो वो भाग गए, उन्होंने बताया नहीं। चिराग दिल्ली पे आपने ये कर रखी है बैरिकेडिंग, शाहपुर गेट पे बैरिकेडिंग कर रखी है। जो आदमी आता है आप उसको कहते हो इधर चले जाओ, दूसरी गाड़ी को इधर लाके वहाँ पे जाम लगवा दें।
नहीं, इसमें ना जो इसे गाइडलाइंस है।
क्या गाइडलाइन है?
200 मीटर की गाइडलाइन है, प्राइवेट व्हीकल अलाउड नहीं है।
अच्छा, तो फिर जी के ग्रेटर कैलाश के अंदर भी नहीं है अलाउड?
मैं आपको दिखा
ग्रेटर कैलाश में सुनिए, ग्रेटर कैलाश में स्कूल के सामने गाड़ी खड़ी हो रही है, साउथ एक्स में स्कूल के सामने गाड़ी खड़ी हो रही है, पैदल उतर के आदमी अंदर जाके वोट डाल रहे हैं। कहाँ है गाइडलाइन? मैं अभी आरओ से बात करता हूँ।
आप आरओ से बात करिए प्लीज।
आरओ, ये मेन रोड कैसे बंद कर दोगे आप?
नहीं, उसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन गाइड घर वालों को रेजिडेंट्स
नहीं है भाई अगर गाइडलाइन है तो सबके लिए होगी ना। आपने पूरा जैम लगवा रखा है, आपके एसएचओ और एसीपी ने यहाँ पे। वहाँ पर जो इंस्पेक्टर है वो कह रहा है कि जी सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछो। सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछा तो वो भाग गए, उन्होंने बताया नहीं। चिराग दिल्ली पे आपने ये कर रखी है बैरिकेडिंग, शाहपुर गेट पे बैरिकेडिंग कर रखी है।
अरे भाई, अंजलिक पब्लिक स्कूल, आयरन पब्लिक स्कूल, पूजा पब्लिक स्कूल, इन्होंने बाहर से महिलाएं बुला रखी है मास्क पहन के या बुरखे की आड़ में। उसे नकली स्कूल नकली बोर्ड जो डलवाएंगे तो ये तो तरीका ठीक नहीं है ना। क्रिश्चियन स्कूल भी है।
अरे कितने ऐसे बोर्ड मिले?
अरे 3-4 तो मैंने ही पकड़ा, एक तो यही रहा, देखो ना,
ये तो यहीं का है,
ये तो यही का है, इसी स्कूल का। और यहाँ जबरदस्ती और दूसरे को परेशान कर रहे। और एक बात बताओ ना, ये दोनों क्या चाहते हैं? दोनों रंगा बिल्ला चाहते क्या है? एक 25 साल से बैठा है, एक 10 साल से बैठा है। इलाके में तो काम नहीं करा इन्होंने, ये भाईचारा खत्म करा। इन्होंने दंगे का रूप दिया, कई बार दंगे का रूप दिया इन दोनों ने। कौन जिम्मेदार होगा? ये जिम्मेदार नहीं है क्या?
अच्छा, आप मौके पर पहुंचे, जब स्कूल पहुंचे आपने पुलिस से इसकी शिकायत की?
हाँ, शिकायत करी ना मैंने शिकायत करी। मैंने कहा आप इन्हें चेक करके भेजो, आप वोट डलवाओ इनकी, मगर चेक करके तो भेजोगे आप। इसमें क्या गलत कह दिया?
अच्छा, वो हंगामा भी सुना है कि आपके जाने के बाद कुछ हंगामा हुआ?
अरे करते रहो, उन्हें तो भाई साहब गलत काम करने हैं ना। यहाँ तो हथियार लेके खड़े हो, हथियार लेके खड़े। इस इलाके को मतलब ही बदनाम कर रखा सीलमपुर को। आज से नहीं बदनाम है, ये तो बहुत बदनाम है। दंगे किसके टाइम में हुए? इन्हीं दोनों के टाइम में हुए ना। और आज भी वही काम, ऐसे तो नहीं होने देंगे। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर भी कोई चीज है ना,
जाके रोकेंगे तो जी बताएं।
अरे भाई, अंजलिक पब्लिक स्कूल, आयरन पब्लिक स्कूल, पूजा पब्लिक स्कूल, इन्होंने बाहर से महिलाएं बुला रखी है मास्क पहन के या बुरखे की आड़।
India Today's Amit Bharadwaj now joining me for more on the story. Amit, what more can you tell us? Saurabh Bharadwaj clashing there with DCP South on movement of vehicles. What's the ruckus all about?
Well, Gaurav, two particular instances coming from South Delhi area. Number one from Greater Kailash, the other one coming from Jangpura, and both of these are the senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party who are confronting the police forces. The video that we are looking at, our viewers are looking at, is Delhi Minister and Aam Aadmi Party's candidate from GK alleging and accusing that the police is blocking the pathway to the polling stations. This morning when I had spoken to Saurabh Bharadwaj, he had said that in his particular constituency, the police has put barricades at least 200 meters away from the polling station, and they are hand-picking as to which vehicle will move towards the polling station. And he's saying that if you have blockades in place, why you allowing certain vehicles and why other vehicles are not being allowed to reach to the polling station. His argument is that this particular act of the Delhi police is leading to, number one, inconvenience to the voter, number two, discouraging the Aam Aadmi Party voters, and that's why that confrontation in Greater Kailas has happened. Now, the second video that you were referring to earlier in this particular bulletin was from Jangpura, where you had former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia confronting the BJP workers and the Delhi police jawans deployed in Jangpura's polling station. And Manish Sisodia had claimed that this particular building, which is not far away from the polling station, their money was being distributed, and the BJP workers were allowed to put up several desks. The polling agents do sit outside certain polling. Every party has their own workers and volunteers sitting outside the polling stations, and usually it's one table which is allowed to each party. But in this particular case, Manish Sisodia was claiming that at least 3 to 4 tables with saffron color clothes were allowed to put outside the polling station, which led to confrontation between Manish Sisodia, Aam Aadmi Party workers and the BJP workers. And Manish Sisodia was also alleging in this particular video that money is being distributed from particular building that he was pointing out at, which is near to the polling station, in order to influence the voters. So certainly 2 videos of ruckus outside the polling stations in South Delhi, one from Greater Kailas, where you have Saurabh Bhardwaj confronting the Delhi police officials, saying that roads to the polling station have been blocked to create inconvenience to the voters. The other one of Manish Sisodia confronting.
This just goes on to show how close this battle is. There's pitched battle happening virtually for every vote. Amit, stay with me. But this confrontation that's taken place between Delhi Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj and DCP South over vehicular movement close to polling booth, and the DCP very clearly telling Saurabh Bhardwaj there are rules of the Election Commission and he is following them. Listen in.
आप कह रहे थे ना आपको सीनियर ऑफिसर ने बोला है, किस सीनियर ऑफिसर ने बोला है वहां पे कि बैरिकेडिंग लगा दी आपने अभी मुझे बोला कि आपके सीनियर ऑफिसर ने बोला है और उनसे बात करिए। सीनियर ऑफिसर आपके भाग रहे हैं छुप के, तो ये तो बदमाशी हो रही है ना पूरी की पूरी। ये सर मेट्रो वाला भी बंद किया, वो देखिए वहां से बंद कर रखा। देखिए वहां से सारे लोग मेट्रो से पैदल चल के आते हैं, वहां बंद कर रखा है। सिर्फ जो है गरीब गांव वालों को परेशान करने के लिए ये पूरी की पूरी बदमाशी कर रखी है। क्यों? क्योंकि मैं यहाँ रहता हूँ, यहाँ पे मेरा वोट है, तो इसलिए ये बदमाशी करेंगे। अरे यार ये कोई काम है? तुम काम करो, काम से जीतो ना, ये सब करने से क्या। और देखो भाग गए छुप के भाग गए सारे के सारे। आपने पूरा जैम लगवा रखा आपके एसएचओ और एसीपी ने यहाँ पे। वहां पर जो इंस्पेक्टर है वो कह रहा है कि जी सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछो। सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछा तो वो भाग गए, उन्होंने बताया नहीं। चिराग दिल्ली पे आपने ये कर रखी है बैरिकेडिंग, शाहपुर गेट पे बैरिकेडिंग कर रखी है। जो आदमी आता है आप उसको कहते हो इधर चले जाओ, दूसरी गाड़ी को इधर लाके वहाँ पे जैम लगवा दें।
नहीं, इसमें ना जो इसे गाइडलाइंस है। क्या
गाइडलाइन है?
200 मीटर की गाइडलाइन है, प्राइवेट व्हीकल अलाउड नहीं है।
अच्छा, तो फिर जी के ग्रेटर कैलाश के अंदर भी नहीं अलाउड?
मैं आपको दिखा
ग्रेटर कैलाश में, सुनिए, ग्रेटर कैलाश में स्कूल के सामने गाड़ी खड़ी हो रही है, साउथ एक्स में स्कूल के सामने गाड़ी खड़ी हो रही है, पैदल उतर के आदमी अंदर जाके वोट डाल रहे हैं। कहाँ है गाइडलाइन? मैं अभी आरओ से बात करता हूँ।
आप आरओ से बात कर लीजिए प्लीज।
आरओ ये मेन रोड कैसे बंद कर दोगे आप?
नहीं, उसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन गाइड घर वालों को रेजिडेंट्स
नहीं है भाई अगर गाइडलाइन है तो सबके लिए होगी ना।
So whether it's Saurabh Bhardwaj in Chirag Delhi, or you have Manish Sisodia in Jangpura, or you have Anil Gaur of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Silampur, they're all alleging one, pressure, fake voting, burqa-clad women going in, identification not being checked. So it just goes on to show both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party literally fighting for every vote. And look at those images on your television screen of various bigwigs from different political parties going there early to cast their ballot. A quick break, back with lots more on Delhi ka dangal, and the big question remains, Delhi ka dil कौन जीतेगा? Will it be the Aam Aadmi Party that will retain the fort? Will it be BJP that comes in after 27 long years, or the Congress that will be able to make a difference and make a dent? Big story coming up. Stay with us.
मतदान महान दान है। मतदान प्रजातंत्र की ऑक्सीजन है। प्रजातंत्र का आधार मतदान है। मतदान सब अधिकारों की जननी है। इससे सर्वोपरि कोई अधिकार नहीं है। प्रजातंत्र का महत्व तब है जब हर व्यक्ति अपना मतदान विवेकपूर्ण तरीके से, स्वतंत्रता से और देश के लिए करे।
सर्दी का दिन है और बड़ी अच्छी धूप निकली हुई है, तो अपने अपने घरों से निकलें, थोड़ी धूप भी सेकें और वोट देकर इस लोकतंत्र के महापर्व में शामिल हों। चुनाव हैं, इलेक्शंस हैं। मेरा सबसे अनुरोध है कि पहले आप लोग वोट करें, उसके बाद घर जाकर नाश्ता करें।
ये जो दिल्ली का चुनाव है, ये एक आम चुनाव नहीं है। ये धर्म युद्ध है। ये अच्छाई और बुराई की लड़ाई है। ये काम और गुंडागर्दी की लड़ाई है। और जहाँ जहाँ हम जा रहे हैं, दिल्ली के लोग काम के साथ हैं और सबको बिल्कुल साफ है कि उनको दिल्ली में गुंडागर्दी नहीं चाहिए।
आप भी जानते हैं कि यहाँ पर किस प्रकार का कुशासन एक दशक से चल रहा है। आज दिल्ली में लोकतंत्र का महापर्व है। मैं दिल्ली के देवतुल्य मतदाता से करबद्ध प्रार्थना करती हूँ कि आज भारी संख्या में अपने अपने मतदान केंद्र में आकर ये जो लोकतंत्र का महापर्व है, इसमें शिरकत करें और आकर अपना डेमोक्रेटिक राइट इसको एक्सरसाइज जरूर करें, ताकि विकसित राष्ट्र की एक विकसित राजधानी दिल्ली भी बन सके।
दिल्ली के लाखों लोग अपने कल्याण के लिए, अपनी तरक्की के लिए, दिल्ली के भले के लिए वोट करेंगे। तो मैंने काल कमाई के चरणों में
The Prime Minister's Prayagraj pilgrimage, he took a dip at the holy Sangam at Triveni of the Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. While he did that, there's polling on in the national capital. That remains our top focus story. I'm Gaurav Sawant. As always, let's get started with the headlines at 1. Brisk voting in Delhi, nearly 20% voting as at 11. Arvind Kejriwal brings his parents on wheelchair to vote. The Gandhis and Narendra Modi government ministers also cast their vote. High drama and ruckus as Delhi votes. BJP alleges fake votes by women in burqa. In Seelampur, Aam Aadmi Party's big cash for votes charge in Jangpura as cops face off with Saurabh Bharadwaj in Chirag, Delhi. Controversies galore ahead of Delhi Dangal. Chief Minister Atishi office staff caught with 5 lakh rupees cash. Arvind Kejriwal booked for remarks on Haryana poisoning and polluting the Yamuna. Burqa battle intensifies as Milkipur votes in by poll. Samajwadi Party claims face veil removed for identification of women voters. Prestige battle underway in Ayodhya. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a spiritual sojourn at the Maha Kumbh takes a holy dip, performs Ganga Aarti and seeks blessings of Ma Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. US President Donald Trump says he wants the United States to take ownership of the Gaza Strip after resettling Palestinians in other neighboring countries. Big story coming in. A US Army C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft with 104 illegal Indians is to land shortly at the Amritsar airport, at the Raja Sasi airport in Amritsar. These are Indians deported from the United States, and this aircraft brings them back to India. There are 79 men, 25 women and 13 children who are being sent back after due legal process in the United States of America. These Indians had entered the United States of America illegally. They've been identified, they've been through the process, we are told, and now are being sent back to India. 104 Indians, of course, part of a much larger group of Indians detained now in the United States for living in the United States illegally, are being sent back. We're also told that 33 are from Gujarat on board the same aircraft. This is a US military C-17 Globemaster. It's a large transport aircraft that's bringing these Indians back to India. Officials of the Punjab police, of the Punjab administration, the civil administration, they're on standby at the airport. An official from the American embassy has also gone inside the airport. So what we now know, and we're breaking those numbers down for you, a total of 104 are being sent back after the US President Donald Trump ordered a crackdown on illegal immigrants in the United States of America. There are 79 men, 7 are children. There are 25 women, 6 of whom are little girls, is the information that we have. Aseem Bassi now joins us for more from the Raja Sasi International Airport in Amritsar. Aseem, what more can you tell us? What happens next after these illegal Indians, immigrants are brought back to India?
Well, you can see behind me we are at the Raja Sasi International Airport, where 104 Indian illegals who entered America illegally and lived there, they will be deported through an army aircraft of the United States of America. And behind me you can see that the security arrangements are being made. There's a heavy police deployment at the Amritsar airport, and it is being learned that once the 104 passengers, the illegal Indians land, they will be straight away taken over to this terminal. You can see in the visuals, this terminal where the immigration will be done. They will be questioned by several agencies, the state agencies as well as central agencies. Their verification will be done that are those those people which list was verified by India earlier. So that all will be done, and after that they will be brought to this route, and from there it is learned that they will be brought out in special vehicles and dispatched to their native places. Since there are a lot of people from Punjab and Haryana, we know that out of 104 there are about 30 from Punjab, there are about 33 from Haryana, 33 from Gujarat. While the people from Gujarat will stay inside the airport, they will take a flight back home to Gujarat in late evening. But later on, these people, as somebody is from Ludhiana, somebody from Sangrur, all those police parties have reached this place, the aviation club, and from there they will take those youngsters to their native places. So it is told that the media is not allowed beyond this point, but after they land, there will be thorough checking which will be done. Verification will be done, all the security analysis will be done, and after that they will be sent back to their native places. So 104 is the number, in which there are 79 males, 25 females, around 13 children. So it's been a long flight for them, so the administration has also made arrangements for them.
What is extremely significant at this point of time, the numbers in the United States of America, the number of illegal Indians, whether from Punjab or Haryana or Gujarat, they're much, much higher, and gradually the illegals will all be sent back. So will this dissuade? Because the administration says for long they've been trying to tell youngsters not to sell off their land, not to sell off their property, and not to take what is known as the donkey route or the illegal route, either through Afghanistan or Europe to the United States of America and then Mexico. Don't take the illegal route to the United States of America. This will send out that strong message.
Yes, definitely, because Gaurav, we've been told by the top cops here also that whatever the American embassy people have come here, it is told that this is one of the first fleet will be landing here. But in the coming days also, you can see similar flights coming from America to bring illegal Indians back to Amritsar. So this is a start, and it is told that in the coming week also or 10 days also, more flights will be coming. And yes, this will be acting as a deterrent with the Trump government going tough. As you mentioned, the number is great. There are thousands of illegal nationals who have been living in America, and after the Trump government has identified them, and they are on their process to send them back home. So this will act as a deterrent also for the youth of Punjab or other states to ensure that they do not go the illegal way, do not take the donkey routes, but they follow the due process, the embassy processes to form a career abroad. So this will be a deterrent also, but for a heartbreak for the youngsters who also spend lakhs of rupees going illegally. But it will be a lesson learned for them that illegality is illegality. So the Trump government ever since formation has taken this a major step, and it has learned that more flights from America are going to come here and land at this airport in the coming days as well. Yeah.
So this aircraft that actually took off from Texas, it stopped in Germany at the Ramstein NATO airbase for refueling. From Germany, that it refueled the C-17 Globemaster, now about to land at the Raja Sasi International Airport. And Asim Basi would be tracking that story closely. I now want to shift focus to the big story about Delhi elections.
Presented by Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. Co-presented by
Aapka Joy, Bharat Ka Joy, Joy E-Bike.
Co-presented by Kia Ceros, evolved by the future. Book now.
It's a very closely fought election, and there's pitched battle for virtually every vote, every seat of the 70 seats in the national capital. And the polling process marred by one controversy after the other in several constituencies. Ruckus erupted in different parts of the capital, from Jangpura and Chirag Delhi to Seelampur. So let's begin by talking about Seelampur, where the BJP has alleged fake voting by burqa-clad women. This led to ruckus at the polling booth. Let me now take you to Jangpura, where Delhi's former Deputy Chief Minister and senior Aam Aadmi Party leader Manish Sisodia has levelled a very serious allegation. He's alleged that cash is being distributed by BJP workers, and this led to a confrontation. He apparently said there are videos that are available. Some videos were made available even to the Delhi police. I now want to shift focus to Chirag Delhi. In Chirag Delhi, again in South Delhi, Aam Aadmi Party's Minister Saurabh Bharadwaj had a verbal confrontation with the Delhi Police DCP South, claiming voters were being deliberately stopped from being able to vote. Their vehicles were being stopped. Delhi Chief Minister Atishi held a late-night inspection in her constituency in Kalkaji. She accused the BJP workers of distributing money and alcohol ahead of voting. The Delhi police has seized 5 lakh rupees in cash from a staffer working in the Delhi Chief Minister's office, and this employee said this was proof of cash. He had proof that this was his own cash, but Delhi police sources said that apparently on his mobile phone there were some messages about distributing money, and this was an interaction that he was having with Atishi, Delhi Chief Minister Atishi's assistant. Of course, this conversation and mobile phone messages are being verified and cross-checked. The Aam Aadmi Party called this cash seizure a planted stunt by the BJP. Aam Aadmi Party's convener Arvind Kejriwal has also been booked by the Delhi police for claiming that the Haryana government had poisoned Yamuna water.
पूरा जैम लगवा रखा आपके एसएचओ और एसीपी ने यहाँ पे। वहाँ पर जो इंस्पेक्टर है वो कह रहा है कि जी सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछो। सीनियर ऑफिसर से पूछा तो वो भाग गए, उन्होंने बताया नहीं। चिराग दिल्ली पे आपने ये कर रखी है बैरिकेडिंग, शाहपुर गेट पे बैरिकेडिंग कर रखी है। जो आदमी आता है आप उसको कहते हो इधर चले जाओ, दूसरी गाड़ी को इधर लाके वहाँ पे जैम लगवा दें।
नहीं, इसमें ना जो इसे गाइडलाइंस है।
क्या गाइडलाइन है?
200 मीटर की गाइडलाइन है, प्राइवेट व्हीकल अलाउड नहीं है।
अच्छा, तो फिर जी के ग्रेटर कैलाश के अंदर भी नहीं है अलाउड?
मैं आपको दिखा
ग्रेटर कैलाश में, ग्रेटर कैलाश में स्कूल के सामने गाड़ी खड़ी हो रही है, साउथ एक्स में स्कूल के सामने गाड़ी खड़ी हो रही है, पैदल उतर के आदमी अंदर जाके वोट डाल रहा है। कहाँ है गाइडलाइन? मैं अभी आरओ से बात करता हूँ।
आप आरओ से बात करिए प्लीज।
मैं आरओ, ये मेन रोड कैसे बंद कर दोगे आप?
नहीं, उसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन गाइड घर वालों को रेजिडेंट्स
नहीं है भाई अगर गाइडलाइन है तो सबके लिए होगी ना। आप कह रहे थे ना आपको सीनियर ऑफिसर ने बोला है, किस सीनियर ऑफिसर ने बोला है वहाँ पे कि बैरिकेडिंग लगा दी आपने अभी मुझे बोला कि आपके सीनियर ऑफिसर ने बोला है और उनसे बात करिए। सीनियर ऑफिसर आपके भाग रहे हैं छुप के, तो ये तो बदमाशी हो रही है ना पूरी की पूरी।
ये सर मेट्रो वाला भी बंद किया,
वो देखिए वहाँ से बंद कर रखा, देखिए वहाँ से सारे लोग मेट्रो से पैदल चल के आते हैं, वहाँ बंद कर रखा है। सिर्फ जो है गरीब गांव वालों को परेशान करने के लिए ये पूरी की पूरी बदमाशी कर रखी है। क्यों? क्योंकि मैं यहाँ रहता हूँ, यहाँ पे मेरा वोट है, तो इसलिए ये बदमाशी करेंगे। अरे यार ये कोई काम है? तुम काम करो, काम से जीतो ना, ये सब करने से क्या। और देखो भाग गए, छुप के भाग गए सारे के सारे।
पर ये लोग थोड़े भाग रहे थे, जिस दुकान पे हम खड़े हैं ये बीजेपी के वार्ड अध्यक्ष के दुकान है, उसके पास इनकी जेब में भी कैश पड़ा हुआ है। पैसा इन्होंने अभी शटर अप करी है, यहाँ पे ये चंदन पनीर भंडार में इन्होंने पैसा रखा हुआ है। इनकी जेब में भी पैसा है, इनका भी पैसा है, ठीक है जी। यहाँ पे बगल में बीजेपी के वार्ड अध्यक्ष की दुकान है।
जो एक पकड़ा गया एमटीएस दिल्ली सीएम के एमटीएस का कर्मचारी है गौरव, क्या उसके साथ किसी का चैट भी मिला है जिसमें पैसों के लेन देन की बात हो रही है?
देखिए अभी जो है ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन का पार्ट है, एक बार जब हो जाएगा इन्वेस्टिगेशन का तभी मैं इस पर कमेंट करूंगा।
Team of reporters on ground zero. I quickly want to cut across to Selampur's Gonda Chowk where Sushant Mehra now joins us with the latest. Sushant, it was an allegation that was leveled by the BJP that burqa-clad women were going to vote without their identity being checked, without identity papers being checked. Is there any merit in that criticism?
और देखिए गौरव, बीजेपी के जो यहाँ से सीलमपुर से कैंडिडेट हैं उनकी तरफ से ये आरोप लगाया गया अब से थोड़ी देर पहले कि जब वो इस स्कूल सेंटर पोलिंग सेंटर पर आए थे, उनकी तरफ से ये कहा गया कि कुछ महिलाएं जो है वो यहाँ पर बुरके की आड़ में बोगस वोटिंग करने के लिए पहुंची है, जिसके बाद हंगामा जो है वो यहाँ पर ज़बरदस्त तरीके से जो है वो देखने को मिला। जिसके बाद बड़ी संख्या में यहाँ पर पुलिस बल और उसके साथ साथ पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेज के जवानों को जो है वो तैनात किया गया है और एक एक व्यक्ति का ID कार्ड और वोटर ID कार्ड चेक करने के बाद ही फिलहाल उसको पोलिंग सेंटर में जाने की इजाज़त जो है वो दी जा रही है। आप देख सकते हैं कि बड़ी बड़ी लंबी लंबी कतारें यहाँ पर इस वक्त जो है वो आपको नज़र आएंगी और पुलिस का कड़ा बंदोबस्त जो है वो इस वक्त यहाँ पर नज़र आ रहा है। सवाल यही है कि बोगस वोटिंग को लेकर के ये सवाल जो है वो खड़े किए गए थे। हालांकि दिल्ली पुलिस का कहना है कि इस तरीके की जो बात है वो पूरी तरीके से गलत है। अभी भी फिलहाल अगर आप देखेंगे तो बड़ी संख्या में यहाँ पर महिलाएं भी जो है वो आपको यहाँ पर नज़र आएंगी और बड़ी संख्या में यहाँ पर जो लोग हैं, पुलिस है, बल को जो है वो यहाँ पर तैनात कर दिया गया। पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स जो है पूरे रास्ते को क्लियर करा रही है क्योंकि काफ़ी संवेदनशील ये पूरा इलाका है और ऐसे में इस इलाके के अंदर इस तरीके के आरोप लगना और उसके बाद हंगामा बचने के ऊपर इलेक्शन कमीशन के ऊपर भी सवाल जो है वो खड़े होते हैं कि आखिरकार इस तरीके से जब वोटिंग हो रही है तो क्यों आखिर उस पर पूरी तरीके से जाँच जो है वो नहीं की जा रही। हालांकि पुलिस ने साफ तौर पर कहा है कि इस तरीके की जो बात कही गई थी वो पूरी तरीके से गलत है।
तो उसमें तथ्य नहीं है, ये दिल्ली पुलिस ने कहा है और तस्वीरों में भी साफ नजर आ रहा है। वी कैन सी इन दोस इमेजेस दैट वुमेन कांस्टेबल्स ऑफ दिल्ली पुलिस आर चेकिंग आइडेंटिटी पेपर्स, comparing them to the faces of those women in burqas and then permitting them to enter the polling booth. We saw some of those images, but I quickly want to cut across now to Amit Bharadwaj, who joins us from New Delhi. And in Jangpura, Amit, we just heard Manish Sisodia, Delhi's former Deputy Chief Minister and senior Aam Aadmi Party leader, allege that the BJP was distributing money. Apparently, some videos have been circulated. What more can you tell us? One, about his complaint, and two, apparently there's a response from the Delhi police.
Gaurav, you know what's happening is that from different pockets of the national capital, there are questions being raised by the different political parties on violation of the model code of conduct and very serious allegations also coming up. Like one which came from Saurabh Bharadwaj in Greater Kailas and now Manish Sisodia in Jangpura. Now remember, Manish Sisodia is moving all across his constituency wherever he is receiving complaints, and this particular video footage that we are showing to our viewers is part of the Jangpura Assembly segment where Manish Sisodia reached this particular building, which is very near to the polling station, local polling station there. Manish Sisodia can be heard claiming that money is being distributed from this particular building, and he's confronting Delhi police officials saying that, look, you raid this particular building because money is being distributed from here. And after that, the confrontation actually went on to the extent that he is also counting the number of tables on which the BJP Karyakartas are sitting. These are the tables with saffron clothes on it, and Manish Sisodia is claiming that 3 to 4 tables have been allocated to the BJP. The BJP workers have been able to put up 3 to 4 tables right outside the polling station, while the other parties are being given only 1 table. So this led to a full-fledged confrontation between the BJP workers and Aam Aadmi Party workers as well. Heavy sloganeering from both sides that has come up right now. And Manish Sisodia is actually demanding that there should be raid on the building from where the money was being distributed as per him. So these are claims, political allegations on the day when the polling is going on. It also indicates to the fact, Gaurav, that as to how close-neck election this one is. Unlike 2015 and 2020, where you had a clear-cut trend working in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party, the AAP also realizes that it's a seat-to-seat battle that they are fighting against the Bharatiya Janata Party, where the Congress is also emerging as a dark horse. And in seats such as Jangpura, it is a high-profile constituency, New Delhi, where I'm standing right now, or beat Kalkaji, the videos of tense confrontation between the workers it is very likely that throughout the day we'll keep getting such visuals, because the BJP had also tried to create a Chakravyuh for the top leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party to ensure that Arvind Kejriwal, should be defeated in New Delhi, and if not defeated, at least curtail him to his constituency so that he cannot campaign for the AAP aggressively as he had done in the past as well. Manish Sisodia, again, he was limited to his constituency this time around because of the kind of aggressive campaign that the BJP and the fight that BJP had put up in Jangpura.
Stay with me. I have a big story that's coming in. So very serious charges leveled by Manish Sisodia, senior Aam Aadmi Party leader. The Delhi police has rejected these charges. Manish Sisodia had alleged cash for votes in Jangpura. Delhi police says not true. In fact, Delhi police has gone on to say that these bribery allegations could not be substantiated. They are unsubstantiated. Manish Sisodia had alleged bribes were offered in exchange for votes. Delhi police says we've been on ground. These allegations cannot be substantiated. So let's listen into Manish Sisodia. We'll also get you what Delhi police is saying. Shreya Chatterjee joins us in just a moment. But let's listen in to Manish Sisodia first.
3-3, 4-4 टेबल बीजेपी के लगवा रखी है यहाँ पे, वो नहीं चलेगा। ये बीजेपी की दिख रही नहीं है आपको? बीजेपी के लोग बैठे हुए हैं सारे, बीजेपी के लोग बैठा रखे 3-3 टेबल्स पे, नहीं लगा रही, तीसरे लोग रहे थे, 3-3 टेबल यहाँ पे लगवा रहे हो, और यहाँ पे महिलाओं को पैसे बंटवा रहे हो। पैसा नहीं है, पैसे किसने बंटवाए हैं? ये वाला घर है, हम बना रहे हैं, पैसे बांटे जा रहे थे इस घर में। मैं कह रहा हूँ इसको रेड, इस घर में छापा डालिए, इस घर में रेड करिए, इस घर में रेड करिए। ये बीजेपी की टेबल, ये बीजेपी की टेबल, ये बीजेपी की टेबल, ये बीजेपी की टेबल, 3 अभी राकेश